Spencer here from Beowulf Builders. Today we're concentrating on old chimneys. More and more often we're coming up to an old house that has a chimney. Most people don't use the chimneys anymore, they just put in the gas heaters, which are very efficient. So what ends up happening is this becomes non-existent. You can run a flue kit through one of these with a new gas system in there, but you waste a lot of space throughout the entire thing. So this one in particular, if you come in closer, please mate. If you come in closer, you'll see that this is actually dropped away. Later on, we'll get underneath the house and we'll show you what's happening underneath the house. The whole brick system's actually dropped. We're going to have to remove the brick system from above the ceiling, above the roof, all the way down. We're going to have to reprop the actual roof space where the roof sheets are coming through, the old rafters and ridge beam, and then we're going to have to work our way down from the top all the way down to the ground and remove all of the brickwork, and then also redo the entire structure. So we'll probably have to put a stump in underneath. We'll also have to put in bearers, maybe a joist, maybe three. We'll just see how we have to pick up the floor. If you have a look here, this whole thing's actually sunk in. You can see that we can stick our hand all the way through the bottom. Underneath, this is all cracked up, and you can see that this is just pulling away. But the mortar, because it's so old, has just turned to dust. Because it's turned to dust, it's no longer structural. So it's a good thing that we have a look at this now. We can rebuild it if we wanted to rebuild it, but to rebuild it, you're looking at a big cost compared to just pulling this down, putting a gas heater in. It's a much more efficient way of doing it, and the heat system that they put out nowadays is much better. So we'll go underneath and we'll just have a look underneath and have a look at the brickwork. Okay, so here we are underneath the house. The mortar is so old that it's actually just breaking away. The entire thing, you can see up here, just here, the entire thing's actually sunk down 45, 50 mil. And the brickwork itself, where it's been toothed in together, is actually splitting. So the whole chimney is not only just sinking downwards, but it's going both ways and splitting in half. We've dug a hole here and we've had a look at trying to underpin the chimney, but because this is just so brittle that every time we come to underneath the bricks just keep falling out. So we can't underpin it. We can't really render or fix this, patch this at all. So the best option, all in all, is to pull it down and start all over again, or pull it down and put a gas heater in upstairs. You'll also notice now that the bearer is coming through, but it's stopping at the brickwork. So because this stops at the brickwork, when we pull this brickwork down, we're going to have to run a new bearer all the way through from one side to the other. We might have to put in also quite a few joists. This has got insulation underneath it, so we'll have to show you when we get closer to this stage the actual structure of how we're going to rebuild this whole section. But now we'll go up into the roof space and just have a look at what we need to do up in the roof space as well. Okay, so here we are up in the roof space. We've started in the room, the front room. We've gone underneath the house, now we've come up into the roof space. You can see again, this is all just really brittle. It's all just falling apart. Rafter, just if you need to know, here's our rafter, here's our ridge beam, here's our trimmer. You'll see that our ridge goes and butts up to our chimney. There's been a fair bit of movement here, you can see with all of the gaps around the sheets. So look at that. There's no structural element to that mortar at all. That's just falling out, and that's just because of weather. Weather's got to that, and that's just, there's no lime in there, and it's just completely crumbling apart. The heat also in a roof space has a big element to do with how this holds up to the weather over the length of time. I mean, it's been here for what, probably 85, 90 years at least. So it's done pretty well. It's with no lime in it. It's just why it starts to fall apart after a certain length of time. So what we're going to have to do is, from the roof space, from above the roof, we're going to have to start pulling it down, and we can start pushing all of the bricks into the chimney and let them fall down. And then when we get to here, we'll prop these two sides of the ridge, continue pulling this all the way down. When we get down to the ceiling height, then what we'll do is we'll rebuild this section. So we'll have to put a new ridge all the way through. We'll still have to probably do a rafter or a trimmer or two just to tie this in, and then we're going to have to redo our roof sheets as well. So for now, this is what we've got to go up against, and we'll show you as we get to it, pulling the chimney down, the way that we go about it, and if you've got any questions or queries, just send me an email at www.bowolfbuilders.com.au. Thank you.